You're listening to Her Sage Talks. I'm your host, Jo. Grab yourself a virtual bundle of sage and let's clear the air together as our guests share transformative wisdom to help you elevate your life. Hello, lovely listeners. Welcome to another episode. Today, we are blessed to have our wonderful Xiomara. She is a female entrepreneur and co-founder of UnoEth. UnoEth is I have had a lot of their products already. I've had a few handbags. They're Ethiopian leather handbags, but they also are starting to expand into other products. So thanks for coming on the show and welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful and appreciative to be here and to share my story.
I've been following for so long, and we were just talking the other day, and I feel like we have so many mutuals, but and I found your products. I love the quality of the handbags. I think I have like a tote, I have a messenger, and I have a backpack. It's so funny. I use the backpack. I used the backpack when I went to a music festival, and it was perfect. Yeah.
The big one.
The mini.
Oh, yeah. The mini is really is that time stuff.
It was so perfect because it was sturdy enough to hold my stuff, but then I was just like dancing. It was a 3-day music festival. I was like dancing the weekend away. It was amazing. It's called ARC. It's hosted in Chicago in September. So much fun. I'm going to make it an annual thing because it lands on my birthday every year. So this is like an open invitation to anyone that wants to pop up. I will not pay for your ticket, but if you do end up being there, let's party together for my birthday weekend. So
right.
Yeah. So what's up with you? Like, what's up with UnoEth? I know that you guys recently added some stuff. I ordered the candle. Amazing. And what's up with all the products?
We have expanded. I've always loved home decor, and since I was like in my early 20s, I was like watching HGTV like religiously. Like I just love like renovations. I also love interior designing and all that kind of stuff. And so I just thought it would be just a perfect addition to our assortment and to kind of expand in that area and also to offer non-leather products as well too. So we partnered with artisans, weavers in Ethiopia, and the materials used are cotton, like a natural cotton, and they're traditionally woven on a hand loom. And they're super soft, they're amazing. So we have blankets, throws, pillow covers, and then I'm also obsessed with candles. And I used to be that one that would like always like go to TJ Maxx or go wherever and buy like 3, 4, 5, 10, 11 candles. And I was like, I want to make my own, especially something that like our clients and customers would come into our studio or at our booth when we like pop up and stuff. And they say like, oh, we love the smell. We love the smell of leather. And in our studio, we always like burn Palo Santo. So I'm like, it's just the perfect combination to kind of make a candle. And so we partnered with a local brand named Carl Marie, and my friend Kyra, who owns and runs it, her and I worked together and collaborated to create this candle. So smells amazing, and it lasts 100 hours. I'm just like, this is dope. So
the candle's amazing. I just got it in the mail this week, and it came at the perfect time because I'm a late bloomer as always. So I just took down all my holiday decor, including my candle. So they came at the perfect time because I am refreshing everything, and it's giving like private luxury Airbnb at Joshua Tree secluded vibes. It's like, yes. Yeah. I love it so much. So thank you.
No problem. You know where to get more.
For sure. So I also saw you have like a robe too. I am obsessed with home stuff, by the way, just like you. So funny backstory. My mom gives me a new robe every year for Christmas because it is like my thing. It's usually like some cheap robe she got at Costco, but whatever. I love it because I am obsessed.
Yeah. Most of the time when I'm at home, I'm just in a robe. Like I just want to be comfy. I want to be free. And I had to include that in our assortment for our home decor because like I just think it's the perfect thing to just throw on top of your jammies or naked, whatever it is.
Girl, yes.
But still has that layer of warmth that you need, right? So I just thought it was perfect. And we have it in 2 colorways, in gray and in tan. So like a warm and a cool.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's like my jam.
Like I also worn it with like jeans and a t-shirt and used it like kind of like a duster kind of vibe too. So there's that.
That's totally going to be me. Like I am a person that throws my robe on, goes to make my espresso in the kitchen, and then I'm like walking the dog around and like my Birkenstocks and a robe, and everyone's like, "Who's that crazy old lady with a dog?" And I'm like, "Just me, my morning walk."
Fly, old lady.
And I also recently saw that you guys were featured in Sweet July magazine. Like, wow.
Yeah. We have an amazing partnership with Sweet July. They have always been such a great supporter of ours. They not only carry our brand in their store and online, but we designed a jewelry wrap case with them. And it's only sold with Sweet July. And I had a lot of fun designing that piece too. And so it's just like it's a roll-up jewelry case, and it's like super light, and there's suede on the inside, and it's amazing. So they gave us this awesome opportunity to be featured in their magazine. It's a beautiful, beautiful magazine. It's not just, I'm definitely keeping it because I'm in it, but also it's this really beautiful magazine that has amazing recipes and just great articles. And so, yeah, that was our our second time in print that I felt like it was really fun to see.
You guys are just doing so much cool work. I am such a stan of Aisha Curry. Mainly because I'm a Warriors fan at first, but then I was like, oh, she cooks, her recipes are great. And then I'm just like, and then Sweet July came around and I'm just like, what? She's just like pulling on all my heartstrings. Like, seriously.
They're coming out with a wine.
What?
Yeah, in Napa. And it's the wine is really good. Yeah.
So I'm just going to be at home sitting, reading my Sweet July magazine, wearing my UnoEth robe, burning my UnoEth candle, and sipping on some wine. Right? A vibe. Right? Literally. Okay, so like, give us some insight. What inspired you to like start UnoEth? Like, how would you guys found it? Like, it is such a cool story. I have a lot of Ethiopian friends that I grew up with in San Francisco, and so when you guys launched your brand, and it struck a lot of chords with me because I was like, wow, that's so cool, and the quality is amazing.
Thank you. I'll be 100% honest with you. It started on accident. I never intended on starting an accessories brand, a handmade one at that, and a handmade in Ethiopia, and to do with my dad. I never thought I would do that. At the time, I was working at Pottery Barn Teen as an assistant buyer in corporate, and my dad got me this leather messenger bag as a gift after he went to go visit family. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I could put my laptop in here, just be hands-free, commute from Oakland to the city every day, via the 3 different modes of transportation that I took every single day. And so my friends and coworkers kept asking me about the bag, like, oh, where'd you get this? This is so cool, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, it's handmade in Ethiopia. My dad got it for me. Like, oh, I wanted to buy it. I was like, sorry, like, I don't know how to help you there. And then I started getting compliments from strangers at BART or in the coffee shop. And they're just like, where did you get this? Where did you get this? I'm like, what the F is going on with this bag? Like, this is insane. And so then I told my dad about it, and he's like, the same thing is happening to me too. I think we should start a business. And I was like, okay, like, this is kind of crazy. I'm working a demanding full-time corporate job. I'm styling on the side for Stitch Fix. And I'm trying to buy a house in the Bay Area and also plan a 200-person wedding. Like, I don't think like you understand like the amount of time I don't have to start this. And then a couple months later, like, the questions and compliments kept happening, and to a point where they started to say like, hey, when's your dad going back to Ethiopia so he can go get me one? And I was like, you know what? F it. Like, let's just start this business and then go ahead and move forward. So I sketched out 3 different designs, and my dad partnered with our current artisan, Muzayn Siraj, to get his leather export license. And then we had about like 15, 20 pre-orders from friends and family, and they just sent us money. And my dad went to Ethiopia with 2 empty suitcases and came back with them full of leather bags. And we gave them to the people who had the pre-orders. And then I started getting emails from random people like, hey, like my friend Shannon got this bag. Like, I'd love to place an order too. I was like, what? So we set up a photo shoot with a friend, and my friends modeled. And then we set up a Shopify store or website and bought a template and just created a store. And then we just started doing pop-ups in February 2015 was when we officially launched. And we would go every other weekend in San Francisco or in Oakland and just wherever anyone would have us. And to the point where just kind of boutiques would ask us if we did wholesale or consignment. And then we started getting more online orders. And then we just kind of kept growing and growing year after year. And a year and a half into it, I just got to the point where I couldn't do a full-time job and grow my business. And I honestly wanted to just be a full-time entrepreneur than to work for somebody that drove me crazy. So that's kind of how we started, and we just kept growing. And then we moved into new spaces, and we started bringing in more products and working with different artisans. And yeah, that was pretty much like how we started. And like now we're here. Next month will be 9 years in business, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Wow. Kudos to you though, like, and to do with your dad. I've seen some of your content when you guys first started posting like videos. They're so cute. I love how you guys interact, and you guys seem to have such a good vibe.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun working with him. He's a funny guy for sure. Now he's kind of more in the background. He's like retired, and like, what do you need me to do? You need me to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's okay. I got it. But he's a great guy.
That's so cool. I know that running a business as an entrepreneur can be demanding, especially in the Bay Area. Like I tell people all the time, like living in the Bay is not easy. You always have like all these side hustles and balance life, and even having a social life is demanding in the Bay Area, right? So balancing the grind and then balancing your social life, like how are you able to do that as an entrepreneur in the Bay Area?
I think it's because as an entrepreneur, like you just work all the time, or there's no such thing as a weekend really, unless you really kind of like work that into your schedule. I started to get really good at like, if it's not in my calendar, then it doesn't exist, right? Workouts, that's my like work time. That's my social time. So I can actually see how much work I have. But I feel like I kind of have a good balance on like all of my levels in terms of social stuff, and then downtime for myself, and then with work. In the beginning, like I worked a lot more, and now I'm just kind of like, okay, I really prioritize investing in my health, physical and mental. And I think that's just the most important thing. Cause I just remember being so burnt out and so tired. And I hate feeling that way. And so I think it requires regular check-ins with your body and with your mind, and like, how do I feel right now? Am I on a scale of 1 to 10, or am I a 7? Or like, what is suffering at this point? Because there's different areas in your life where maybe your love life sucks, but your family's great. Business sucks, but or whatever it is, finances and that kind of stuff. Like you just kind of have to take inventory and analyze like where you kind of stand.
I love that. I think I'm going to start doing that. So I just started this planner, and it actually it's the best planner that I've ever like used, because it encompasses everything, talking about, personal life, or, your mental health or business goals and things like that. So you're able to balance everything, where most planners are just like, what are you doing today? What are your like professional goals or whatever. But that is great. Like I will definitely start taking stock of like on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I at today with mental or whatever. So I love that.
Yeah, I think it's just important to like kind of recognize where you are and that kind of stuff. And I think it's a learned thing too, because there would be some times where like someone else would like check in on me, like, hey, how are you feeling? Like, what is this? Are you okay? Like, I'm like, am I okay right now? Like, interesting. And then you just kind of like dive into like all of that. So
yeah. No, that's so good. I love it. And so when you balance, like, because I always try to say that there's a lot of people out there like, oh, I hate my job. And then they try to dive into entrepreneurship, and it's just like a whole different beast. And it's just getting to that level of, I think, balancing the work that needs to be done, and then still living a life that you enjoy, or like, you know what I mean? Like, What was the breaking point of getting yourself to that level of being able to balance everything?
I think for me, like when I work out, I feel great. I noticed I created a ritual in the morning that I would stick to because that I knew for sure if I do these three things today, then I'll have at least a 50% great day. And so that is meditating in the morning and writing my gratitude journal and working out. Those three things really help me just kind of like start the day off right and in the best footing possible. And when I didn't realize this because when I noticed that I was not in a great space is because I wasn't doing those things consistently. Now, granted, I don't work out every single day, but I do like I take my dog on a walk, like I do some type of like active thing in terms of stretching, maybe some yoga, like just mobility, anything that is moving my body for at least 30 minutes, you know? So I think incorporate those things in your life every day, then you're really going to do a lot of great things for your body and for your mind.
Yeah, no, I love that. I actually also do gratitude journaling every day. I'm still getting to the point of when I'm consistent at meditating, but I would say the biggest part is the gratitude journaling for me and then moving my body. And luckily, I have a dog who forces me to get out of the house. And I feel like if I didn't have a dog, I'd forget to leave the house sometimes.
1000%, because they're just like at your bed, like begging you, like, like, wanting
Yes.
to go, like, I have to go,
Right.
I have to get up. So, yeah,
Right. Yeah. And you have a dog too. What kind of dog do you have?
I do. His name is Diesel, and he is a pit bull, blue nose.
Oh, how cute. I love my dog. I think dogs are better than humans most times. So my dog is a mini American Eskimo. So he's a little bit more of like in the husky family. So he's a really great dog, like super well behaved, doesn't like eat any of my shoes or my purses, which is, I'm so thankful. But he's very territorial. So like any stranger danger sound that comes along is like not okay for him.
Yep, yep, sets the alarm.
Yep. Yep. And so with UnoEth, I just love like you guys, your brand's been so consistent and you guys, I feel like it caters a lot to people of color. You guys use a lot of people of color in your photo shoots. I love that it just has a platform for people of color. And so as a woman of color and entrepreneur, like how have you been able to navigate as an entrepreneur? Like have you faced any unique challenges or what is that like trying to get partnerships and collaborations?
You know, it's funny you say that because I didn't have too many collabs and partnerships with like companies or media or that kind of stuff until 2020 and until George Floyd and until we're like, hey, like we actually really need this. Like, let's, people wanted to, I mean, I think there's a lot of performative action that happened on that, in terms of like including more people of color into whatever article, blog post, or collaboration, whatever it may be with that company. But I think it shined a light for sure on what the disparities are for women, people of color, especially women of color entrepreneurs. And so they're definitely like started that conversation and a lot of actions were taken. And so I feel like before it was just hard to even get a loan. And thankfully I worked with a bunch of CDFIs, like nonprofit organizations that help small business owners get funding if they're 0 to 5 years old in business. And so that's kind of how we really got to kind of escalate and grow that way. And I knew about that because I was networking and I was using my resources within my network to find out like where I can get funding, where I can grow, and like where all this information lives, ask questions and know the right people and not be afraid to meet new people and to put yourself out there. So I think that those are a lot of things I had to learn as an entrepreneur. And then just a lot of the struggles of being a woman entrepreneur is just that there's not a lot of opportunities that would be readily available for us if we were white and male.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk to a lot of my female entrepreneurs all the time, and it's like getting into these spaces where one, you don't always see yourself. there's that imposter syndrome that you kind of start to go through, kind of just takes over your mind, and you have to like snap yourself out of it and give yourself all these affirmations to remind yourself that you belong in these spaces. Like it's hard. I have a lot of friends that are starting skincare lines or starting, whatever. And it's a little daunting to be able to try to, one, establish your brand, and then two, but like the funding part that you're talking about, like that is, I think, one of the hardest parts of like getting off the ground even.
That's the hardest part, because it's like, how are you going to get this money to start? Are you going to do a crowd fund? Are you going to use your own savings? Are you going to take a credit card out? Are you going to try to get a loan? Like, are you going to pitch to VCs like before you've even started? Like, what are you going to do? There's so many ways to do it. And all of them take a lot of work and a lot of convincing. And it also takes, you have to have a plan. You have to be ready to show what are your numbers, what are your projections, your profit margins, and who your target audience is, and what is your plan of capturing that audience? Like what percentage, who are your competitors? There's so many things you have to be prepared for before you start a business. And then once you start, there's going to be a slew of other issues that you're going to come into, because it's just entrepreneurship. Like it's just guaranteed you're going to through problems you didn't think about. And that's when a lot of people just don't even succeed, because they don't want to deal with the problems. They don't want to keep going and find the solutions. And so true entrepreneurs are super resourceful, and there has to be a little bit of crazy. Like there's definitely like
for sure.
You want to pursue this instead of just being secure in a job. I'm like, well, I mean, a bunch of people just got laid off from a bunch of different companies this month, so a lot of people, like there's not a lot of security right now, especially in this recession.
I know, it's like, what even is secure, right? So it's, I think, really being able to tell yourself, I'm willing to roll my sleeves up and try whatever I need to try and just go and keep going. I think that's the hardest part for some people, because I tell some of my friends, my job never leaves me. I feel like I'm always working. I don't really have such thing as work-life balance. I call it work-life integration, really, because, like my daughter will be like, hey, mommy, like, I want to do this today. When can we do this in your day? And I have to, being able to make time for my family and balance everything. It's like, I don't stop working until like midnight some days, because my family comes first some days, And so, yeah, for sure. That is definitely that balancing act that I can see being very demanding. And some people just get to go to work and clock in. And I'm like, is that really work?
Right. And just like talk with their coworkers and maybe a couple meetings and then a couple emails and then go.
Right. Like I was a big jokester, and I'm not going to lie. When I had a corporate job and I went into the office, I was the one that played all the pranks. And so I was like, cool, I get to like make money and prank people all day. It's awesome.
Right. Right. What type of pranks would you do?
I used to go around and then put tape over everyone's like laser on bottom of the mouth. So, and then I would like, and I would hear people like moving their mouths around for forever. Yeah, that was one. At one point, I was in like this call center environment. I was a supervisor, and we used to prank all the supervisors. Anytime someone went on vacation, it's like, you're not allowed to because you came back to a prank. We covered one of my coworkers' entire cubicle in foil, and it was amazing because everything was individually like wrapped.
Right. One of my first job out of college, I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Like it was the only job that I could get during that recession. Like the fact that as millennials, we're talking about two different recessions that we very much so remember and like dealt with. So thinking me, I'm like, I can't wait to work. I want to get out of college. And then boom, 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 the recession. I'm just like, wait, the only job that I can get is at Enterprise Rent-A-Car in their management training program, where I'm in a business suit at 7 a.m. washing cars and picking people up, dropping them off, getting yelled at because their car isn't there that they reserved, all this stuff, like 50 hours a week, making like $11, $12 an hour. Like how make that make sense? And then come home and then be so exhausted and have to go to bed 2 hours later and do it all over again. Like, how do you expect?
Yeah. I mean, I just think we
I
live in
see
different
that.
times,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely different times. But also, my car was in the shop. It had gotten in an accident, and they made fun of me because I was riding my bike to work. And so they put foil all over it. So when you talked about foil, I was like, you were one of them. So I had foil
I
all over
was one of them.
on my seat and the handlebar. Like, they were totally making fun of me. And it was like a mountain bike. It's not a real city bike or anything
I
like
just
that.
totally like poked at a trauma and I unlocked one of your past traumas. Oh man. Yeah. Foil's my thing. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't use it as much with food anymore and it is just lying around the house. I actually recently played a prank on my boyfriend. He went away for work and I was like, you're not allowed to go away for work. Like, leave me alone. So I covered like all of his stuff in foil. It was awesome.
Like all shiny silver.
Yeah. And then like underneath the bed, I put foil underneath the sheet so that when he got into bed, it was like this like level of foil. Yeah, I'm that person. So you don't ever want to like travel with me, room with me, date me, because if you're not ready for that, it's going to be an issue for sure.
It is.
Well, yeah. So I guess as entrepreneurs, we can't really play pranks on each other anymore. I guess we could. I could do it in co-working spaces, but people would probably hate me and I'd get kicked out forever.
Well,
Maybe.
you definitely want to have a talk with HR for sure.
Yeah. So there's that. So light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. Well,
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you guys are just going strong. Like UnoEth is, I think, so my daughter wants to be an entrepreneur as well. I tell her all the time, like, you can make money doing anything. I don't want her to just pick a job or, get a degree just because she should. So she wants to go into the fashion space and she wants to design her own stuff. And like, I give her your Instagram all the time. I'm like, look, this is someone out of Oakland doing it, she's doing it with her dad. Cause I don't know if she wants to do it with me, but I want to do it with her.
I mean, you can integrate yourself in some way. Like, I talk to my parents every day. I'm always asking for like advice or just general like catch up and that kind of stuff. My mom's an attorney. She has her own law firm. So she knows exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about entrepreneurship woes and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I always lean on my parents for all sorts of advice.
I love that. I love that you guys have such this supportive, environment and you can lean on them. I aspire to be that way with her when she goes off to college and hopefully, I think right now she's leaning towards FIT and
Okay.
that's her roadmap. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm always sharing stories with her with like your company and, like watch them, look how they're doing it. And so you guys are definitely an inspiration to people out there if you didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And so we're talking about entrepreneurship and like following your dreams. If there are like people out there that are wanting to get into this space, is there any tips or tricks to overcoming those roller coaster moments or getting over the humps or any advice you would give to someone looking to start their venture?
I always say this because we didn't have this when we were first starting out. We were just kind of winging it and just kind of like, oh, here we go. Just kind of like no direction. Have a plan. Like I developed my plan maybe a year and a half into our business. We were just kind of just like, this is fun. Let's just whatever. Like, let's just sell some bags on the weekends and that kind of stuff. So definitely have a plan because that actually makes it real. Like, you actually have a plan and strategy of how you're going to accomplish like hitting these goals and knowing who your target audience is and that you can specify who you're reaching out to, how to get in front of them and who to collaborate with and create your sales channels of like how you can actually make things grow. So once you create that plan, it just makes it real. And then the scaries of it kind of go away because you feel more sure about what you're doing. There's research and there's data backing this up, And so I think that is one of the first things I always tell people to do. And what a lot of my entrepreneur friends and I talk about is the fact that it's like you're putting out like constant fires, and that's just entrepreneurship, right? Don't be afraid of the hard work, but also remember to take care of yourself. I think that's the most important thing, because a lot of people quit because they're not taking care of themselves and they're getting tired, they're getting burnt out and developing these unhealthy habits. And we're not put on this earth to just work hard, pay bills, sleep, and die. Like, we're here on this earth to really enjoy life and this world that we live in, and each other. And so I strongly encourage all sorts of, breaks. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, in order to get to where you want to go to, you need to really honor yourself and on that time that you have to rest. Like, rest is key. Like, you have to travel. Travel is so inspiring, and it gets you out of your comfort zone of your daily life, and you also see a lot and meet a lot of people and get inspired again. So I say those two things for sure in terms of just like tips on entrepreneurship.
You touched on like friend entrepreneurship. Would you say that surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs helps you stay inspired, or like what does that look like for? I think that's where I'm at, right? So like it's kind of lonely, I feel like, when you're starting off, or you're separating yourself from, people that are not on the same page as you, and then wanting to start your own venture, but you're just like, it's lonely for a bit until you find your own community of people that are on the same path.
It's definitely lonely. In the beginning, it was lonely for me because a lot of my friends were in the education space. They're like getting their masters, they work in different schools, colleges, professors, and then my friends had jobs in marketing or merchandising, and I didn't have that, no one to call at 11 in the morning, you know what I mean? And go to lunch with, or just to have a coffee. But I found that community when I started to network and go to events, especially like events that were more like geared towards my niche of entrepreneurship. So Black owned businesses, women owned businesses, family owned business, local in the area. I think that's really important to create those partnerships and friendships, because then you can collab together and make something really great in terms of if you wanted to pop up at a boutique and the owner of the store, if you wanted to design something for someone who has another brand, or just getting all the knowledge. And there's so much information you get from your city's small business association, which information that you can get from there and meet other people and for funding, grants, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, now most of my friends are entrepreneurs, and definitely changed since I would say 2016 is when it kind of really started to change in terms of like my friends and who I talk to every day and get information from, and just people who doesn't know how it feels like that. It's, man, I'm dealing with this. I thought this was going to happen. This didn't fall through, and blah, blah, blah. Like, so you have that now, you know what I mean? That camaraderie is really important, that to be with, or not be with, but, or be with. I mean, now that I date a lot of entrepreneurs now, have dated. So it just, people that understand you, they know like the grind, and they know how hard it is and the stress.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that being kind of hard. And this is before I started wanting to go into my own ventures, but I remember dating someone, and I'm a single mom, and he didn't understand that. And he was just like, you're just so busy, I don't think I can date you. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. Like, just like, it's cool, I guess. Have a good life. But I mean, I appreciated the honesty, you know what I mean? Because it's not for everyone. Like and being able to find someone that gets it, like that's big for sure.
Yeah, because like my ex, he would definitely start to complain. Like, you come home and I would make dinner, and then we'd eat on the computer from like 8 to 11. I'm like, well, when is it going to get done? Like, I work in the city, and I have to leave the house by 7:45, go stand in line at the casual carpool, get picked up by a stranger and another stranger, and get dropped off in San Francisco, and then walk a mile, go to work, then come done with work 5:36, walk to BART, which is a mile away, and then get on BART, and then you you would pick me up, So like, I don't have a lot of time. You just didn't understand sometimes.
No, I totally understand that. Yeah, my boyfriend now, we communicate a little bit more to where it's like, all right, how's your day look? What's your day look? And then I'm a little bit more technically savvy on some things. And he's just like, can I get your help? And so like trying to like learn how to balance the work and the personal is kind of hard sometimes. But like today he's like, can you help me record content? You're so good at creative stuff. And I'm like, could we have dinner first and then get to that?
Right.
So right. Like, let's eat first. I don't want to be hangry. Like, but it's cool to have someone in your corner that gets it, where it's like today I'm like, I'm going to be recording. He's like, cool. I'm going to go to the cigar bar and like rub elbows with my other entrepreneur friends there in the cigar bar and have it. I'm like, cool, do your thing. So it's nice. It's nice to have someone that gets it, that isn't going to be like pressing you and, constantly asking for your time. And you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that just the level of understanding is really key.
And I would say even family too, like having your family understand is key. Because I come from a family of immigrants, and Filipinos are generally like, just get a good job, right? Get a good job and provide for your family. Nurses are very popular in our generation. Yes, and I'm one of the people that were like, I don't want to be a nurse. I hate hospitals. I don't want to do it. And it was a big fight for a long time. And so it took a long time for me to get like my family's buy-in into them trusting that I'm making the right decisions for myself. Like that's huge, So kudos to you. You have a mother and a father that supports that. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And it's funny because my mom's the entrepreneur and my dad, he just retired from over 30 years of teaching at Sacramento City College. So he has like that, he has an entrepreneurial like spirit, but he also had a really, really great, like, I was like, Dad, you had a really great gig, right? And he's like, it was more than a gig. It was a career in education. I was like, I understand, but you went to work from like 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., like Monday through Thursday, and had summers off, winter breaks, spring breaks, and all the holidays. And he's like, I know, but I worked hard for it. I was like, yes, you did. So like, it's funny because my mom and I will kind of like rile on him sometimes. He's like, hey, why are you guys getting into me? Like, you understand? But now he's relaxed. He's chilling. So he's living the dream. He's always been living the dream as long as I've known him for 36 years.
I feel like I have an old soul. Sometimes I can't wait to be like 70 and like living the dream and chilling. I don't know that I'll be chilling, but we'll see. My parents are up there too. Like they're reaching retirement and about to be chilling too. So
yeah, I want them all to chill and retire and just have fun and enjoy life. They deserve it.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. I think my dad actually also had a very entrepreneur mindset. He used to co-own like this printing company in Oakland, like back in the day. And I was a little kid. We couldn't afford books. So he would like copy and print books from the library for me and make them at his company and like bind them for me. And like, I think seeing that at such an early age kind of played into my mentality now. But because my dad never really like stuck with it in the long term, and he might have like financially got burned from making some bad decisions as an entrepreneur, like he's so scared for me to make those same mistakes. And so he's like a little protective of like, make sure you're saving, make sure you have a retirement fund. So it's like, I get a little bit of both. I get some slack, but then I also get like, okay, I get why you want to do it, So
yeah, totally. I just love the freedom of entrepreneurship to do, like, yes, I can totally do a 1 p.m. call, for a podcast. And like after this, I'm going to go pick up an order at the SFO cargo. Like I love having that flexibility. And then also I'm like, I'm not doing it tomorrow or whatever it may be. Like, I love that, just the freedom part. And then being able to do what I want to do, kind of like designing my own life like that. We all have that capability and power, but I think there's a lot more wiggle room when you own your own business, but then also like you're also chained to it too. Like you have to make something work. You have to work hard. You have to do all that you can in order to make it successful. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think on both ends, whether you want to stay in the corporate world and, have someone make your schedule and then being able to turn it off, or if you want to do the entrepreneur life thing and it's more of like, there's that pressure, but then there's also that freedom on the other hand. So yeah, totally get it.
Yeah.
So with UnoEth, like what's next for you guys? Like what's coming up? Anything exciting or any other new launches that I can include into my home my home space?
We have a couple really big corporate partnerships that we're going to be announcing next month. Really, really excited for this, and something that we've been working. Well, one of them we've been working with for a while behind the scenes, but then another one's pretty new, and so we're going to be announcing them in February. So we're partnering with Wayfair, where our home decor is going to be sold, and this is where, in an example of where you have to open your mouth because closed mouths don't get fed. And I saw that a friend of mine, her name is Sade. I've known her since high school, but she's my good friend. Robin's a really good friend. And so she had posted about how she works at Wayfair. She's the head of diversity suppliers or supplier diversity. And she did this really awesome, amazing project featuring a bunch of Black owned businesses. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know this. And I was telling her I was going to launch a home decor line. She's like, this is perfect. Like, let's work together, blah, blah, blah. So that's one of our partnerships that's going to be coming soon. I'm really excited for that. And then we are partnering with Madewell.
Oh my gosh. How cool.
So thank you. We got connected through this nonprofit organization called Nest. And they're like an artisan guild where they help artisan partners and businesses that partner with artisans as well across the globe and here in the US. And they sent us an email and they're like, hey, we think that you'd be a really great candidate for Madewell's Maker Collective and this class 17. Like, we think it'd be really great. So you and like 3 other brands and blah, blah, blah. Let us know if you're interested. This is a tight turnaround. I'm like, what the F? Yes, of course. Like, what do you guys need? What do you guys want? And so we sent them over a line sheet. We selected some of the styles that they wanted to carry on their site. So they were going to be promoting us on their site, and they're reselling our brand on Madewell. So it's really exciting.
Oh my goodness. That is also one of my top brands that I shop pretty often. So that is huge.
They have really, really good quality clothes. And I think that like our brand perfectly matches with theirs as well too. So I think it's a really good match.
Yeah, no, it's like totally my vibe. So it's like the two vibes collide. And it's oh my God, that's exciting. I'm going to definitely look out for that. And so I know that we are coming up on time here, and I want to be respectful of your time. For anyone that's looking to connect with you or shop UnoEth products, like where can the audience find you?
Everyone can find us at unoeth.com. That's UNOETH.com. And that's same as our Insta handle, which is at UnoEth. If they want to connect with me personally, my handle is Xiomara RT. That's XIOMARART. And that's for Instagram. And we're also on TikTok. And what else are we on? Facebook, the general. And Threads.
All the general stuff.
Yeah, and Threads. The same.
Oh, Threads. I love Threads now. I'm like starting to get into Threads.
Threads is a fun platform. I'm feeling it. I've definitely connected with some people on there who are kind of like-minded and everything like that. Definitely a lot of inspo. And it's just like, it's a great space for now.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think the algorithms on Threads is like on point. I don't know if it's because it's new and I'm like searching for specific things, but yeah, I love it.
And also it's linked with everything that you do on Instagram too. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Meta just has it down pat for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I am forever grateful, and I am going to continue to look for the products because love the brand.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good day. And thanks everyone for listening.
Bye.